Okay, the first thing I would recommend doing is taking the brake off, just so there's no friction anywhere else. But take a look and listen to how much play is in this shaft here. Your transmission might be different than mine. Use the shims accordingly. I'm just gonna drop the ones that I had on. There you go. Look at that. No play. Okay, I actually took one shim off the right side and replaced it with one on the left side to center up this gear a little bit better. Now that you've got this all put back together, the next thing to shim is your transmission cluster. The way that it comes from factory, I realized that there's a lot of movement in this whole unit. There's a lot of play in that. The gears don't line up perfectly with that idle gear on the bottom. What I did to fix this, put two shims right on the end against the clutch, right before you put the bearing on. And then now when you put this back in, there's no play and it lines up perfectly with that bottom idle gear. Everything runs smooth. The next thing to shim is this top unit here. Install that back. What you want to do is get rid of all this slop. So you actually need to put another shim over here. There's the pen. To put a shim against this, and then you put this on, and then put your clip back on, and the last shim you put here is on the end of this shaft. All back together, spins freely, no play. Okay, now here's the part that had me stumped when I first put this together. So you have everything shimmed up, everything's good. When you put this top cap on, it binds. It seems like the gears inside are meshing too tight when I put the top cap on. And when you screw it down, it's even worse. You need to put some shims or washers right here on all three screws to lift the whole top cap up a little bit. Now you don't want to go too much because these side pieces put pressure on the bearing and hold this cluster in, so you don't want to go too high, but it does need a little lift, and that was my solution. You can see the washer in between the case there. Now this spins nice and free. No binding, no play anywhere. There's no play in the bottom or the top here. Everything spins freely. If there's anybody else that had this issue, let me know in the comments. That's about it. I'm gonna clean these brakes up and put them back on and call it a day on this. I'm gonna test it out in the final build. This is what's gonna be built into the FLM chassis. Alright, that was my video on shimming up the 3-speed with the FLM HD gears. Hopefully it helps some of you figure that out. That was just an issue that I was having and how I solved the problem.